The time has come for a new program of national rebuilding. To launch our national rebuilding, I will be asking Congress to approve legislation that produces a $1 trillion investment in infrastructure of the United States, financed through both public and private capital, creating millions of new jobs.
Our infrastructure is deteriorating. To maintain America's competitiveness and also productivity, we need to address the deteriorating infrastructure of this country. And so this is one of the President's top priorities. It's not on my shoulders alone, because it also depends on the efforts of my fellow colleagues, fellow cabinet colleagues. Well, it's $1 trillion over 10 years. Yeah. And we are working on the outlines and the details, possible details of the infrastructure initiative. A package will be coming out later in the next several months. But this will be a third quarter initiative because the President had to go through Obamacare first, and then tax reform, and the third issue is infrastructure. This is very interesting because I think most people do not understand this. The Department of Transportation provides some of the funding for transportation systems. It's in a block grant. It is given to the states, and the states decide how they want to use the money. Furthermore, the states themselves come up with additional funding so that the federal government is not in charge of all of the infrastructure, all of the roads and bridges. It's only roads and bridges that are interconnected, intercommerce, interstate, that are actually overseen by the federal government. When a road is being built, it takes sometimes 15 years in America. Why is that? Because there are many other departments that are also involved. For example, environmental review processes. And there are different departments of the permitting, the regulations of how a project proceeds can sometimes be quite a barrier. So I have to work with other cabinet officers. For example, Environmental Protection Agency. For example, Army Corps of Engineers. So there are about 8 or 9 other departments that are also involved in the infrastructure initiative. And they include not only myself, but energy, water, perhaps broadband. So we as a group are working together, and that includes Secretary of Treasury, OMB Director, Secretary of Commerce, Energy, Interior, Agriculture, Defense, and also Environmental Protection Administrator. So it's all of us addressing the question as to why it takes so long to rebuild our infrastructure. How do we shorten that? But also, how do we repair our infrastructure and rebuild? We can certainly learn from other countries. The infrastructure of many who have recently built their infrastructure is, of course, better because it's newer. So we need to repair and rebuild our own infrastructure. I would have a word of consideration, because this is a subject of discussion right now. There are technologies and skill sets that we do not possess in the United States. But for foreign companies to come into the United States and think that they can have the business, make all the manufacturing in their home country, and just ship the components or the final product to the United States, I think there may be some change to that, because President Trump's Buy America and Create American Jobs emphasis will foster a greater awareness on the part of these foreign companies that if they come to the United States, they need to help create American jobs.